We're staying with our lead story tonight, which is 18 people who have been killed in a gas explosion earlier today. Our correspondent Olu Phillips has been on the ground at Abule Ado, where he's been monitoring the situation for us all day. Olu joins us now via satellite. Olu, tell us what's going on.
Well, you can see, I understand that professionally this fire has to burn out, and that's the very spot that has been burning all day. We're just going to allow it to burn out. It's already after 10 p.m. tonight, and that's about the only area where you have activity. You can see that the entire area is completely pitch dark, and so no operations are going on anymore. No retrieving is going on, no excavation is going on. All of that we expect will happen from tomorrow morning. But again, I must tell you that men of the police command, men from the area command, RRS, they're all here making sure that miscreants don't come in and out, or those who really want to go see if they have their loved ones trapped here do not have their way beyond the cordon area. Meanwhile, we still have the CP of Police for Lagos Command, Mr. Kim Odumosu. If you could just join us, let's make a final wrap on what this is about. Tell us, a lot of people have said that this is a bomb explosion. They've also talked about the possibility of a terrorist attack. Tell us from the professional angle, what do you think has happened here today in a quick summary?
In a short form, it is a fake news. Nothing like a bomb, nothing like terrorist attack, nothing like terrorism. It was just an human error, a mistake by a driver that caused this. Period. Nothing like terrorism, nothing like. All the news that been going on now on the social media now is a fake news. Just to heighten the tension. But now nothing like that. We have found out. Briefly, what just happened is that a driver who carried a trailer driver truck, carried granite, was about to cross the pipeline and way of right of way. Maybe he never knew there was a pipeline there now. As was going, the vehicle got stuck. The trailer got stuck. And it was putting efforts now to get it uplifted now. So it's a sandy area. So as the more you try to roll, the tire rolls now, so the further it goes down, the further it goes, creates that hole until it got to where the pipe was. And that contact now with the heat that have been generated. So while it was rolling the tire now, so that was what ignited.
Why do we have over 100 meters, 200 meters houses around here that have been blown off? The roofs have been blown off. Some houses have caved in. Could that still be part of what has happened here?
Now, what's devastating that one is when that one happened now with the force which the pipe was, the fuel was coming. So that's the way it goes out. Unfortunately, along that axis too, there are so many people that are separated, that are selling, operating gas cylinders, gas. So that's what created the whole thing. That force with which it came out now, and the flame it came out with now, it moved at that speed to where all those gas cylinders are, and it started busting out. And it started rolling. That was what brought in all the devastating one. You know, in other areas now where you have this pipeline, something, never like this. There were the gas cylinders that you have on that area now that aggravated this and caused much damage.
And this is not vandalism?
Well, so far, no vandalism. It was a human error mistake from the driver.
All right, thank you very much. That may be soothing in terms of a professional explanation as to what may have happened, but it doesn't take away the fact that we have, in the wake of all of these incidences, damages, casualties, deaths, and victims, those who have lost their houses and may never return to this area if the order by the federal government through the GMD is anything to go by, that all houses 50 meters away from the pipeline or right of way will be moved away or will be destroyed or be brought down. That's the update we have here, Amara. I also understand that by tomorrow morning, the governor of Lagos State is expected to be here, and from tomorrow it will become very clearer what exactly we need to be doing going forward. Back to you, Amara.
Thanks a lot, Olu. Thank you for bringing us up to speed. Olu Phillips has been there all day monitoring the situation at Abule Ado. Just to bring you up to speed again, 18 persons are dead, several buildings destroyed from that gas explosion that rocked the community in the early hours of today. Let's now get some insights into the explosion that rocked the community. We're being joined on the news at 10 by the Director General of the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, LASEMA, Dr. Femi Oke Osoitolu, as well as Professor Leke Uduaye, who is a from the Faculty of Environmental Sciences at the University of Lagos. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. Mr. Soyitule, I'll begin with you. I know it's been a busy day for you. You have been at the scene. We've been seeing more of you at, disaster sites regularly in the past 1 year in Lagos. What is it that people really need to keep in mind, to prevent these disasters from becoming, emergency situations?
Well, the key thing in there, if you look at it holistically, the government of the day, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, is putting a lot of things in terms of safety of life and properties. The gap is the attitude, the orientation of our people. So our people need to align with the mission and vision of Mr. Governor. And these are always been the problem. If you look at the causes of Amu fire incidents, you will discover that it's still the same thing that occurred at Abule Egba. It's still the same thing that occurred at the Abule Ado. So these are things that our people need to change their orientation, and they need to realize that safety of life and property is everyone's business.
Yeah, but we understand Abule Ado has existed even before Governor Jide Sanwo-Olu came into office. And Olu is telling us in that report, the NNPC says houses should be 50 meters away from the pipeline. So obviously someone is breaking the rules here.
Definitely.
Yeah, and who's to keep them in check? Who's to prevent them from making these mistakes so that we don't end up with disasters like these?
You will discover that 90% of those buildings, they do not have approved plans. And that's why the Ministry of Physical Planning, the Building Controlling Agency are going about to enforce all this. But we should not get there, because in each of our local governments, we have council engineers there. In each of our divisions, we have engineers in there. Our people need to abide with the rules and regulations. We should not reach the stage of enforcement. We should realize that our own safety should be paramount to us.
I'd like to talk about what you saw on the ground when you were at the site at Abule Ado, because I know you came as quickly as you heard, that there was a disaster there. Tell us what you observed. Tell us what you saw.
Look at it critically. Before we even get to the scene, this has always been the problem. There is a lot of overcrowding. The people are not allowing the first responders to perform their duties. Secondly, you will discover that there's a lot of fake disseminations of information. That one, as an emergency manager, you have to ensure that you maintain crowd control. We have to call in the military to allow us access to this. Again, we have to start managing the fake news being disseminated. So these are two major challenges that we encountered at that incident. But shortly when we got there, we are well on top of it, and you can see that we are able to rescue a lot of people, despite the fact that the disaster was a very devastating disaster. But we were on top of it within 30 minutes.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned, the issue of crowds, because, people do tend to gather, when there is disaster. Some people think they can provide some help. Some people feel, they should get some information out so that people are heading in that direction, do not get stuck somewhere in traffic. The problem really is how to control, what first responders should be doing, because sometimes first responders are not the people who have the tools to do anything. They're just ordinary citizens like you and I. Sorry, like me.
Well, you will discover that our first responders in Lagos State, we build their capacity. We have sophisticated equipment to allow us to work. And you will discover that in Lagos State, we have what we call emergency response plan, that whenever there's any form of emergency, we normally activate it. But you will discover that most of the people that are there, they are not there to help. They are there to steal. They are there to prevent us from working. And they make things complicated for us.